Welcome to the hottest movie review on the internet today, the A-List Review. I'm your host, the game changer, Wes Troop. And this week I'm going to be looking at 5 different movies, 3 of which were released brand new in theaters: Insurgent, The Gunman, and Do You Believe, as well as a special viewing of the Alfred Hitchcock classic Rear Window in our A-List Classic segment, not A-List, yes, and also look at the comedy Top 5, which was released on Blu-Ray and DVD this week. So let's get a kick in with my review of the newest Divergent movie, Insurgent. Shailene Woodley. Yeah, I don't know. After the events of the last film, our heroine, Triss, and her friends search for survivors and allies to help them rebel against the government's evil dictator who is looking to open a very important box. To open this vital device, it will take a powerful divergent. Gee, I wonder who it could be. So what did I think of Insurgent? I thought it's a tolerable action sequel. This is the second film in a 4-movie series based on the popular book trilogy. That's right, they're splitting the last book into 2 parts of a movie. What a shock. After seeing the first film, I felt this was going to be the Diet Hunger Games series, and so far, I stand by that statement. There's some okay action sequences here and there, including a brawl on a train and some hallway shootouts. I felt there was a little too much talking in between the excitement that didn't really move the story along. There's also a few too many dream and simulation sequences that try to make you guess what's real and what's not. Thanks to the girls in back of me, I was told which was which as soon as the scene started. So thank you for that. Also, the story is filled with buzzwords and talks about the different factions in detail. It's crucial to see the first film before this one, unless you're cool with every 5 words being gibberish to you. Shailene Woodley stars as Triss Pryor, the Divergent looking to take down the head of the government after the death of her parents, spoiler, and feels that a pixie haircut is necessary to pull it off. Not a spoiler. And Theo James as Ford, Triss's now boyfriend, helping her on the mission and trying to protect her at the same time. Woodley does a nice job as always, but I didn't feel much chemistry between the two. Now let's talk about 2 actors Shailene had better chemistry with in superior films. Ansel Elgort plays Caleb, Triss's awkward brother, who's along for the ride at first but feels he can't carry on, and Miles Teller as Peter, a somewhat douchey turncoat who betrays Triss and tries to worm his way into the government. Also included are Naomi Watts as Evelyn Johnson Eaton, Four's mother, who is believed to be dead but is the leader of the factionless group, Octavia Spencer as Joanna, the leader of the Amity faction, and Kate Winslet as Janine Matthews, the leader of Erudite, who becomes drunk with power. While it may please the target audience of tweens and fans of the book, Insurgent doesn't pack the punch it could, resulting in a somewhat bland affair. I'm going to give it the rating of meh. You know, it's okay. Just like I gave a meh to the first Divergent. It didn't blow my socks off. So, you know, this one I liked a little better, a smidge more, not much more. But here's hoping that the 3rd and 4th movie will be better. All right, now let's take a look at what I would call Sean Penn's midlife crisis movie, ladies and gentlemen. Here is my review of The Gunman. A group of soldiers are sent into the Republic of Congo during a civil war to protect government officials in 2006. The group also has other plans to assassinate the mining minister. The gunman is forced to leave the continent and leave his love behind. Cut to 8 years later, he is attacked and set up for his past and searches to find out who the culprit is. So what did I think of The Gunman? I thought it's an unsatisfying action drama based on the novel The Prone Gunman. This feels like Sean Penn is trying to be Liam Neeson, funny enough in a film with the same director of Taken. The action is violent and bloody and includes explosions, gunfights, and showdowns at the aquarium, and even a bullfighting arena, where the main character faces off against a henchman with a very distracting bandage on his chin. Chin boy! There's also a death toward the end of the film that made myself and some of the audience laugh, and it felt like it was straight out of a Final Destination film death. The story dives into politics and really tries to send a message. The first hour of the film drags on with boring setup and a love subplot. Things pick up thankfully in the second half when the action kicks in. Sean Penn stars as Jim Terrier, the ex-soldier trying to clean his slate while trying to figure out who is after him. Also in the cast, Jasmine Trinka as Annie, Jim's girlfriend back in 2006, who comes back into his life and he has to protect her. Javier Bardem as Felix, a member of the team who's now a successful businessman married to Annie. Ray Winstone as Stanley, Jim's friend and one of the only people he can trust. Mark Rylance as Cox, the leader of the operation back in the Congo. And Idris Elba, in more of a cameo here, as DuPont, an Interpol agent who meets up with Jim. The Gunman had some promise, but ends up really missing its mark. I'm going to give it the rating of... suck it. Yeah. I would really not see this film. Maybe a rental at best if you're really bored. Don't go see it in theaters. I mean, there are some people out there that liked it, but I did not really care for this one. As I said, it did get better in the second half, but that first half is a lot to sit through. It's a lot to trudge through for the finale that you get. Alright, and I also got the chance to see the newest film from Pureflix, which is basically like a religious movie studio. They brought us God's Not Dead last year, and now they brought us a new movie. Let's see if I like it this time. This is my review of Do You Believe? The lives of 12 different people intersect at an important moment in time as they all question and think about their faith and if they believe in God. So what did I think of Do You Believe? I believed it's a moderate religious drama. It's from the same studio that released the film God's Not Dead last year, and I can thankfully say this go-around is better than that. Yeah, I was not a big fan of that movie. Is it preachy, beating you over the head with a Bible? Is the sky blue? Of course it is. It also showcases the non-believers as jerks, but not as badly portrayed in God's Not Dead, as these characters at least have a conscience, and they're not psychopaths. The film does the whole Crash-type film, where we see all the separate storylines throughout the film come together at the finale. The story itself has its moments, but gets really melodramatic as it goes on. It covers some hot topic issues, such as the paramedic talking to a dying victim about Jesus when the person isn't exactly religious, modern miracles, being born again, and changing your ways before it's too late. Ted McGinley stars as Matthew, a pastor who is asked if he believes and then preaches a sermon to his congregation about it. He also takes in a pregnant runaway, much to the chagrin of his wife, Grace, played by Tracy Melchior. Also in the cast, Mira Sorvino as Samantha, a mother who is forced to live with her daughter, Lily, at a women's shelter. Lee Majors and Sybil Shepherd as JD and Terry, a couple who lost their daughter in the past and invite Samantha and Lily to stay with them. Brian Bosworth as Joe, a changed criminal who befriends Samantha and Lily, but is hiding an illness. And Swayze, no, not Patrick Swayze, as Pretty Boy, a Robert who debates giving up the gangster life for God. While I enjoyed it a little more than I expected to, Do You Believe feels like it would have been better suited as a Hallmark Channel holiday special, but will probably still please congregations out there. If you're a fan of the faith-based films, I think you will enjoy this film, but I'm gonna give it a meh. You know, it's okay. Like I said, I did enjoy it more than God's Not Dead. I enjoyed it a little more even than Heaven is for Real, because I felt that didn't really tell you a whole lot about the subject I wanted to know about. But Do You Believe? It's okay. Alright, and I also got to catch a limited engagement showing from Turner Classic Movies. They brought back in theaters the Alfred Hitchcock classic Rear Window. Here are my thoughts on that. A photographer is laid up in his apartment after an accident that caused him to have a broken leg. He gets bored and decides to spy on the neighbors. He gets an eyeful and begins to suspect that one of his neighbors could very well be a murderer. So what did I think of Rear Window? I thought it's a brilliant thriller. Hitchcock's direction is second to none here. The idea of filming the different apartment windows for most of the film was a bit risky, but it certainly pays off. Especially since most of the action takes place in just one of the apartments. I also love that you get sucked in right along with the characters, wondering if the suspect is guilty, and trying to solve the case as it's going on as well. The film also has fantastic suspense and had me on the edge of my seat by the grand finale. There's also a bit of dark humor to break up the tension a bit. James Stewart stars as L.B. Jeff Jeffries, the photographer who begins snooping on the tenants in the next building with a camera and binoculars and gets more than he bargains for in one of the apartments. Also in the cast, Grace Kelly as Lisa Fairmont, a socialite and Jeff's girlfriend who also gets into the mix watching the happenings across the way. Thelma Ritter as Stella, Jeff's nurse who is also interested in Jeff's accusations. Wendell Corey as Tom Doyle, Jeff's friend and the detective he calls in to tell him what he's been seeing. And Raymond Burr as Lars Thorwald, the salesman in question whose invalid wife disappears. If you've never seen Rear Window, make sure to put it on your to-do list to watch this masterpiece. I'm going to give it the rating of A-list approved. It gets the A-list seal of approval. Easily the best thing I saw in theaters this week. Yeah, it is classic movie. Unfortunately, the theater I saw it in only had, including me, 6 people. But, the 6 people that were in that theater absolutely loved it. So it was a TCM special. They had, little known facts about it before and after the film. They're doing one at Sound of Music next month. So I'm hoping to catch that one. But definitely Rear Window if you haven't seen it. Alright, and finally this week on Blu-ray and DVD was released it was a big deal, pretty much, this past December. It was a comedy starring Chris Rock. Here are my thoughts on Top 5. Comedy actor and former stand-up comedian wants to be taken more seriously and stars in a serious, dramatic piece. To promote the film, he has an interview with a journalist, and we hear interesting tidbits from his life. So what did I think of Top 5? I thought it's a fun comedy. There's actually been a lot of buzz surrounding this film, praising how great it is. It's not in my top 5 of last year, but I did enjoy it and think it's easily one of Chris Rock's best films, which doesn't really say much. The story sees the comedian trying his hand at a more serious role and if he's accepted by the entertainment world for his decision. He also deals with harsh criticism, making us assume Rock is making social commentary on Hollywood and his own career. During his interview, he discusses a wild night of partying in Houston, which causes him to become sober, talks to his good friends about his life and career, and goes on to his bachelor party. There are some good laughs here, and the humor is quite crude. Chris Rock directs, writes, and stars as Andre Allen, the funniest man in America due to his Hammy the Bear movies, who wants to take his career into a different direction. Rosaria Dawson as Chelsea Brown, the journalist interviewing Andre for his new film, and might get a little closer to him than she expected. Gabrielle Union as Bricani, Andre's fiance, who's the star of a reality TV show planning a humongous wedding for them. Kevin Hart's here, of course, because it's that time of the month, as Charles, Andre's agent. JB Smoove as Silk, Andre's security guard and friend. Cedric the Entertainer as Jazzy, the best man in town for hookups, and Jerry Seinfeld, Adam Sandler, and Whoopi Goldberg playing themselves hysterically in a strip club scene. It's not my favorite comedy of last year, but Top 5 definitely delivers some laughs. I'm going to give it the rating of do it. Yeah, it's still worth checking out if you're a Chris Rock fan, definitely. But I there was so much talk about this. Like, everyone had it on, like, their top lists, and I'm just like, it's not that good. It's good. It's not great. But, it's worth a rental. Alright, peeps, that does it for this week. Next week, I'll be reviewing the Will Ferrell, Kevin Hart comedy, Get Hard, yeah, and also the Jim Parsons and Rihanna, yeah, Rihanna, I know, animated film, Home, as well as a few new Blu-ray and DVD reviews, and who knows what else I might throw in there. You never know. Come back and see. So until next time, don't forget to subscribe to me right here on YouTube. YouTube.com/WestsideOf515. You can like my Facebook page, Facebook.com/WestTroopAlist. So, follow me on Twitter @WesAlist. Follow me on Instagram @WesAlist. And of course, you can buy my brand new book, the A-List Review 2014 Movie Review Yearbook. Over 150 reviews, only $10. Contact me through Facebook or Twitter if you are interested. Until next time, Troop out.